The Tennessee Titans fixed their offensive line through free agency, but they took a big risk to do it. I'm giving out grades for every free agent move for the Tennessee Titans on today's edition of Locked On Titans.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. On today's show, I'm going to be giving out grades for every single free agent signing the Tennessee Titans have made, plus some other roster moves that they have made during the offseason as well. Before we dive into the grades, do want to thank you for making Locked On Titans your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day. Speaking of every day, shout out to my everydayers out there. Tuning in Monday through Friday. Couldn't do it without you guys. If you aren't an everydayer, you need to be one because there's still plenty of moves to go for the Tennessee Titans this offseason. The draft is right around the corner. You want to make sure that you're up to date on everything you need to know, including the Titans salary cap space. I'm going to break down on tomorrow's show all of the different contracts the Titans have signed and how much salary cap space they need, or how much salary cap space they have. Certainly they need all of it. And then what they need to do with that cap space going forward. They have a need at cornerback now, need another edge, some other additions, especially wide receiver. So we'll dive into all of that as the week continues to unfold. But do want to dive into today's episode, giving out some grades for the Tennessee Titans all season. And before I go into the individual moves, I want to give a grade for what the Tennessee Titans have done so far in totality. And for me, it's a B-. I think the expectations for the Tennessee Titans during this offseason, this free agency period in particular, were definitely low. I didn't think the Titans were going to go out and make some crazy moves and anything like that. But while they haven't done anything crazy, and that was the expectation, they haven't done anything overly positive, in my opinion, either. My expectations were low, so I wasn't expecting some massive move or something like that. But even the big time move that they made, I can't say I was a huge fan of. They haven't done a lot of bad moves, in my opinion, which is key. But overall, it's just a B- so far. Now, we're 1 week into free agency, folks. There is a lot to go. There's a lot of roster building time left. So I'm not here to judge the Tennessee Titans all season in totality 1 week into free agency. But what they've done so far, I give it a B-. And the biggest move they've made so far is definitely the addition of Dan Moore at left tackle. So this move, I give the Tennessee Titans a C+ for the Dan Moore move. Look at the positives. The Tennessee Titans needed average starting level offensive line play. Like, that's an upgrade over what they got at right tackle last year. So now you bring in another offensive tackle who, granted, is going to play at left tackle with J.C. Latham moving to right tackle. But I think the level of play that we should expect from Dan Moore at left tackle next year is what we got from J.C. Latham last year. So I would say that the Tennessee Titans got league average level left tackle play from J.C. Latham as a rookie last year, which is great news for J.C. Latham, because if you're league average starter as a rookie, odds are as you improve as a player, you're going to be way better than average. Okay. So that's not a knock on J.C. Latham as a rookie when I say that he was an average starting offensive tackle. But I guess it could be a knock on Dan Moore. Because while he is an average, to me, Dan Moore is like, anywhere from 35 to 55 in terms of like starting offensive tackles in the NFL. You want to look at just left tackle, he's probably anywhere from like 18 to 26 in my mind. So he is a low level, he's an average starter in the NFL, low level starter, high level backup. That's the level of play that he's at. And that's basically what I think Latham was last year. So in theory, you move Dan Moore to left tackle, you get average play there. You get better than average play from your right tackle, and the offensive line is better. I guess just at the end of the day, paying $20 million a year, $50 million guaranteed, which is going to create a 3-year commitment to Dan Moore for the Tennessee Titans. Like, that's just a lot to pay for that level of play, even if it's what the Titans needed. So it's a C+ for me. But Kevin Zeitler at right guard, that's a B+ for me. I can't give it an A. The reason that I can't give it an A is because it's not a long-term answer for the Tennessee Titans. Kevin Zeitler is not a long-term anything for the Titans. He's 35 years old. So you go out, you don't make a strong financial commitment. You don't commit future funds to Kevin Zeitler. It's a 1-year deal, $9 million. That is a positive for me. I love that for the Titans, that they're only doing a 1-year deal here with Kevin Zeitler. You fill the hole, you plug the hole with solid veteran NFL level starter. But it's still a problem that the Titans are going to have to fix in the draft. They're going to need a new starting right guard next season. So while it's a good spot filler with no financial commitment into the future, at the end of the day, it's a 1-year gap filler. So it's a B+ for me. It could only be an A if it were a multi-year solution, and it's not that. But moving to the last couple of signings we saw on offense, Van Jefferson is where I'm going to start. And to me, Van Jefferson is a C-. Not only because bringing in Van Jefferson doesn't really do anything for the wide receiver group. It's very, okay, they're just as bad as they were before. You picked Van Jefferson over NWI. And look, I know that the immediate pushback to that is, no, the Titans gave NWI a similar offer to the Miami Dolphins, and he chose to go to Miami. Well, that was NWI's choice. But the Tennessee Titans chose not to offer NWI more. And if they would have offered him a big enough difference between the Dolphins, he would have came back. And NWI is a better player than Van Jefferson. Now, Van Jefferson is a local guy. He's got the Tennessee story. Dad used to coach for the Titans. He is a faster player than NWI, and the Titans want more speed. But NWI is a better player. And again, he chose to go to Miami, but the Titans chose not to give him a better offer. So it's not like the Titans were completely helpless in the situation. The last deal on offense that I want to talk about is Brandon Allen, the backup quarterback. I give that a B. He's not one of the high-level backups that I would have liked to have paired with Cam Ward, like a Jacoby Brissett or Jameis Winston or even a Joe Flacco would have been a great option in my mind. Brandon Allen, though, experience with Brian Callahan in Cincinnati, 2 years as the backup during the Bengals Super Bowl run. He knows the offense. He knows the system. He's 33 years old. He's not going to threaten the rookie quarterback, but he's going to be able to support and mentor the rookie quarterback. So I'm going to give it a B. It's not an A. It's not an A, which is what Winston or Brissett would have been. But it's a solid B, getting Brandon Allen. But now let's go to the defensive side of the ball, where it's not just signings that I'm excited about. Big-time trade. My only A+ move of the offseason so far for the Titans. The big-time trade. So we're going to dive into the defensive grades right now. Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, even who's going to cut down the nets. Look, I know that upsets and Cinderellas are more exciting, but I love picking favorites and going chalk, and I can back the favorites with spreads, totals, game props. I can stay in the action all tournament long with games happening almost every single day. Plus, the FanDuel app is simple to use, and when I win, I get paid instantly with no waiting around. Make sure that you visit FanDuel.com to get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. Again, that's FanDuel.com. Titans fans, let's continue today's free agency grades edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. We did the offensive signings and moves over there. Now I want to move to the defensive side of the ball. Before I do, thanks again for making Locked On Titans your first listen. It's your team every day here, the Locked On Titans podcast. But we'll start with Cody Barton, which was the big signing that the Titans made on the defensive side of the ball. They give Cody Barton a 3-year deal, $21 million, $13.5 million guaranteed. It's basically a 2-year commitment to Cody Barton. I gave this move a B+. I really like the addition of Cody Barton. He's a 3-down linebacker. He's a durable player, and that's the one thing that's going to pop up. I've been mentioning it for a few shows now, but the one thing that's going to pop up consistently when you look at these free agent signings and the pattern that the Titans had and the through line between all of these signings is durability. All of these guys stay on the field, and Cody Barton is a guy who's going to be out there. He's going to be out on the field. He's got 3-down linebacker ability. Again, he can cover sideline to sideline. He is a phenomenal tackler. Cody Barton is an excellent tackler, one of the best, most reliable tacklers in the entire NFL. Also, he's not going to be great in man coverage. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Cody Barton is incredible in coverage and all of this, but he is an instinctual player in zone coverage. He understands where to drop to. He understands where to be. He has a good understanding of what offenses are trying to do, so he knows how to pinch certain routes and take away certain concepts. He's just an intelligent linebacker out there. So, to me, going from Kenneth Murray to Cody Barton, that's a B+ signing. But the Kenneth Murray move on its own, trading Kenneth Murray to the Dallas Cowboys, is my only A+ move of the offseason so far. And not only is it an A+, I feel like the teacher in A Christmas Carol or A Christmas Story to Ralphie's theme. It is A++++ to take a player in Kenneth Murray, who was not very good last year, has never been very good, in my opinion. And not only get off of the player, but when you make the trade, you don't even have to pay any of the additional $7 million. So you save $7 million. You get rid of a bad player and replace him with a better player in Cody Barton. And then you improve your draft picks because of it. How? How were they able to do all of that? Get a better player, less money, and improve your draft picks. Like, that is an A+++++ move. The switch at inside linebacker is incredible. Now, look, I'm not giving Cody Barton on its own an A because Cody Barton is a Jag. He's just another guy. It's like when the Titans signed Kenneth Murray, or when the Titans signed Azeez Al-Shire, or when the Titans signed Wesley Woodyard, or when the Titans signed Avery Williamson. You know, like, these are just average level starting linebackers. They're not elite. They're not terrible. You could switch them in and out with a bunch of guys around the NFL and get similar results. That's where Cody Barton is, but he's a slight bit better than Kenneth Murray, which is important. And improving the draft pick and saving money to do it, absolute home run by Mike Borgonzi and crew. Fantastic job there. And then we move to Xavier Woods. And to me, Xavier Woods at safety is just a simple B. I mentioned a Jag just a second ago. If you don't know what that is, a Jag is a common NFL term that's been around for decades and decades, and it's just another guy. The majority of the NFL is just another guy. Again, you could switch them out with 20 to 30 other guys and probably get similar play. Not a difference maker. That's what Xavier Woods is. Now, I have to tell you, I would have rather gone with Morgan Moses and Javon Holland over Dan Moore and Xavier Woods. Period. There's no question about it for me. But Xavier Woods on its own, when taken out of that equation, Xavier Woods is fine. He's another durable player who always plays, league average starter, can do a little bit of everything, not great at anything. He's just a versatile guy. He'll come down in the box, play a little split field coverage. I don't know if I want Xavier Woods being my free safety in the back end at center field, but he's a versatile safety who's a veteran, who 2-year, $10 million deal. That's nothing. 1 year, $5 million. That's nothing. The problem is you kick the can down the road. So considering all the good and all the bad involved with this process, it's just a B move for me. Then we get to Draymond Jones. And I like Draymond Jones. I'm giving it a B+, but maybe not for the reasons that everyone will think. So when Draymond Jones was signed, and if you go find Draymond Jones on certain websites, it's going to say he's an edge rusher. And Seattle did use him more on the edge last year than we've seen before in his career. I don't want the Titans to do that. Draymond Jones is a versatile chess piece. He's played in the B gap, 500 snaps. He's played on the edge. He's played everywhere in between. They need to move Draymond Jones up and down the line of scrimmage, like they did with Danico Autry, like they should be doing with Arden Key. I don't think that Draymond Jones rushing off the edge, like you think of when you think of Harold Landry or Arden Key, to me, that's not the right thing to do. Draymond Jones needs to rush from the interior. He can be a bigger, more physical edge on early downs, and maybe that'll help you in run defense, but I don't think that Draymond Jones is better in run defense than Harold Landry is. This was a pass rush move. And the ability for Draymond Jones, again, to move up and down the line of scrimmage with different pass rush units, that is important. But to me, the Titans still need 2 edge rushers. Draymond Jones is not an edge guy. He's a defensive lineman, not an edge. So with that in mind, it's a B+. I like the move. I like the pass rush ability. I like that it's a 1-year, $10 million deal where the Titans aren't given a lot of penalty into the future. But, it's Draymond Jones. It's not a difference maker. It's not changing the outcome of the team. It's just another piece to use in a big rotation. But they still need more pieces in that rotation. The last mention that I want to have here is Johnny Hekker. The Titans bring in Johnny Hekker. The swap out for Ryan Stonehouse, to me, that's a B. It's not an A because Hecker's in his mid-30s. Ryan Stonehouse is in his mid-20s. You gave up a big opportunity for a long-time all-pro punter in Ryan Stonehouse because Bones Fossil wanted Hekker. Now, Hecker's been an all-pro in the past, but the reality here is Hekker doesn't hit the ball as far as Ryan Stonehouse. He doesn't hit the ball as high up in the air as Ryan Stonehouse. Their hang times are not that different, which is something that surprised me. But Hekker is much better with positional punting. He's much better with his placement punting. And I think that's going to help out the coverage units for the Tennessee Titans, and it's going to make them better on special teams. So I can't give it an A because you're going with a much older player, but I will give it a B because you did improve the special teams with this move. Now, those are all the free agents, along with Blake Hance. My letter grade for Blake Hance on the interior offensive line is IDGAF. That's my letter grade for Blake Hance. He is going to battle with Andrew Rupsich as the primary backup guard. Cool, whatever. But I want to go over some moves that the Titans made that aren't free agent signings, whether it be in-house re-signings or some cuts that they made.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Titans fans, let's cap off today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast, giving out some grades for free agency so far. I did the offensive signings. I did the defensive signings with Johnny Hekker. Now I want to look at some moves that weren't free agent signings, but were moves that the Tennessee Titans made on the roster nonetheless. Before we get into them, do want to thank you again for making Locked On Titans your first listen each and every day. For your second listen, check out Locked On NFL. I'm also the host of Locked On NFL. You get all your Titans news here with me in under 30 minutes every day. Get your NFL news with me in under 30 minutes every day at Locked On NFL, free and available on all platforms. But with that being said, again, I want to go over some moves that weren't free agent signings for the Tennessee Titans. The Titans have made 9 signings so far. We went over all of them, but I want to talk about these cuts because the Tennessee Titans cut Harold Landry, and I got to give that move a B. So the Titans did save $11 million. Harold Landry was not a great player at the end of the season last year, so you get a guy like Draymond Jones, maybe you bring in another free agent edge, you draft an edge rusher, you probably have a better edge rush group, but Harold Landry had been a stalwart with the franchise. Harold Landry had been a leader in the locker room. The Titans cut Harold Landry, and they needed 2 edge rushers before Harold Landry was cut. Now they need 3. Probably, if you want to count Draymond Jones in that, they still need 2 more. So while I do understand that the Titans wanted to save money on Harold Landry, I think replacing him for, like they spent $11 million, or they saved $11 million to cut Harold Landry, and they spent 10 on Draymond Jones. So all you did was, instead of paying $24 million for Harold Landry, you're paying $24 million for Draymond Jones, because you were paying Landry 13 and then him 10. Like, ultimately, it's the same. Now, Draymond Jones has a better pass rush win rate than Harold Landry, but, it's not like some incredible move that they made to do this. So it's only a B for me. And cutting Chido Awuzie is a C. Look, you save cash. The Titans are going to have $12 million in cash savings this year, but it only saves them $2 million in cap space. The Titans are going to have to draft a cornerback now, or they're going to have to go out and sign another one in veteran free agency. And you save $2 million on the cap. You go out and you sign another veteran cornerback, even a low end one for $3 million or so. Like, you didn't really save any money on the cap. You saved a little bit of money in cash, but what are you going to spend that on? Now the Titans don't have as good a depth at cornerback. And again, they're going to have to use either more cap space and more cash, or they're going to have to use a draft pick on cornerback when you had a really good top 5. So I know that Chido only played 8 games last year. I know he was overpaid for what he was getting, but considering where the Titans are at with the cap and the depth at the position, I didn't really see as big of a need as the Titans did, obviously, to cut Chido. So the theory that I work under is that Chido asked to be released when they told him, you're not starting next year. It's going to be Snead, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., and Roger McCreary. That's going to be your 3 starting cornerbacks. And Chido was going to be cornerback 4. So if he was like, nah, I'm not doing that, I'm going somewhere else, they were like, okay, fine, we'll just cut you then. That makes a lot of sense to me, but I'm giving that one a C. Now for the players that were re-signed, Sebastian Joseph Day is an A to me. I thought JD was a guy the Titans needed to bring back all along, basically. Really productive as a depth piece. Knew that he wasn't going to cost a ton. Titans gave him like 1 year, $7.5 million, and $2.5 million of that is incentives. He got like $4 million last year. Basically got back, I have the hiccups now. Got back for $5 million. So that's a good deal for the Titans. They also bring back Mike Brown, Otis Reese, Andrew Rupsich, Keandre Coburn, Corey Levin. Like, none of these players are going to make a huge difference for the Titans, but they're good depth pieces, and you need to have players at this level of salary on basically minimum deals who know your locker room, who know your system, who know what the expectations are. I personally can't be mad about any of these re-signings, of these low-level deals. Reese is probably going to compete for a starting job. Sebastian Joseph Day was a starter. Rupsich and Blake Hance can compete on the interior offensive line. Corey Levin is now the backup center instead of Daniel Brunskill. That's Blake Hance is your new Daniel Brunskill, and they like Corey Levin as their backup center. So all of those moves are an A to me. Nothing to bat your eye at. So with that being said, before I'm overcome by the hiccups, that's going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.